Exclusive contract novel from Feilu Novel Network. People in the Apocalypse City are storytelling and have no intention of seeking me to argue. Su-yi unexpectedly traveled to the world of martial arts. At the beginning, the storyteller system was activated. As long as he keeps talking, he can receive generous rewards. Even fragments of characters from the book can be obtained. Collect all the fragments and directly summon the characters from the book to his side. So one wonderful story after another was passed down from then on. I am invincible on earth, I will not fight against heaven or anyone else. The collapse of the heavenly way has left Chen Ping'an with only one sword, which can move mountains, cut off rivers, pour seas, subdue demons, restrain demons, decree gods, pluck stars, destroy cities, and open up the heavens. Heaven does not give birth to me, Li Chungang. Swordsmanship will last forever like a long night. Here. Give a toast to the young master. I have a sword that can slay the heavenly dragon, and a sword that can slay the heavenly man. Please ascend to heaven, ancestor. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1. The Book of Sword 9 Emperors, Li Chungang sighed. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Speaking of the 9 yellow swords, after returning to the city of Emperor Wu, I have been thinking about the sword that was left behind 3 years ago due to the defeat of Wang Xianzhi. So, he decided to challenge Wang Xianzhi, the second in the world, again. He knew he had no chance of winning this battle. But he knew that throughout his life, he had never had any goals. In the first half of his life, he fought everywhere without any purpose, but later he followed the Crown Prince, who became his target. Now that the Crown Prince has safely returned to the city of Emperor Wu, his mission has been completed. What I really want to do now is to retrieve that sword. So, he made this sword his ultimate goal and made the final sprint. At the same time, I also want to use my own death to pave the way for the Crown Prince's journey in the world. Qixia Town, inside Tongfu Inn. Su-yi stands on a high platform. The story of the Northern Liang swordsman with 9 yellow swords is narrated eloquently. At this moment, there were no empty seats in the audience. Everyone listened with great interest, to the extent that some of the wine glasses were hovering around their mouths, and after a while, they completely forgot. I'm afraid that I might miss out on the highlights of the story just by tasting the wine. Ah, that Su Shitzi really can't support the wall with mud. With such a powerful figure by his side, he insists on not practicing martial arts. It's like taking a beautiful wife and not sleeping, it's really a waste. I can't blame that Crown Prince entirely. Who would have let old Huang run faster than anyone else when he encountered something on the way? Who would have known that he would be a top-notch expert? However, it would be too reckless for Huang to challenge Wang Xianzhi. You should know that Wang Xianzhi is already the second in the world. 3 years ago, he couldn't defeat the opponent, and it's probably difficult after 3 years. Without listening to Mr. Su's tone, old Huang didn't even aim for victory or defeat. If I guess correctly, he probably just wanted to go crazy once for the final goal. Living aimlessly is better than indulging in death, Lao Huang. This is clearly a way of seeing through life. People have different opinions on the character of Lao Huang. But it is admirable. Besides his strength, I admire his carefree demeanor more. It seems that there is no need to adjust, but when encountering real problems, Huang has never verified and retreated. Everyone felt that the 9 yellow swords were loose. But some people don't think so. Above the attic, a man wearing a bamboo hat, dressed in black, and wearing a white ghost mask. Do you think this Huang is really free and easy, or something? Asked the person next to him, who was not tall and had a clown makeup on his face. The person asking the question is not someone else, but a leader with the most powerful and unscrupulous person in the Tang dynasty, a handsome and unscrupulous person. A small person is a mirror heart demon with the heavenly sin star of the 36 heavenly gang. Mirror Heart Demon was asked by the Grand Marshal and quickly respectfully replied, Grand Marshal, I don't know. He certainly doesn't know, because he has been thinking about today's hexagrams. According to the hexagram, during the visit to the ancestral tomb of the Li family, the Grand Marshal only had a chance of survival by staying on the island. If he left the island, he would undoubtedly die. So he once again suggested, do you want me to inform all the bad people and temporarily use the island as the headquarters? We can leave after General finds a way to break the situation. And the Grand Marshal seemed to have not heard his words. Drinking the fine wine in the glass without hesitation. My head shook slightly, as if savoring fine wine, and as if savoring the story told by the storyteller. After a long time, he suddenly sighed and said, I actually feel that there are some similarities between this sword's 9 yellow and me. Mirror Heart Demon was bewildered, obviously not understanding what the Grand Marshal meant. Pop. Sui was stunned with a slap. The audience below suddenly fell silent. Our book continues from the previous one. After returning to the city of Emperor Wu, Huang kept thinking about the sword he had once lost at the head of the city. So I decided to give it a try, regardless of success or failure. Su Shizhi was well aware that although Lao Huang had excellent strength, he was still slightly inferior to the second in the world. So I wanted to persuade Lao Huang. But Lao Huang's heart was already hardened by now. He explained to the Crown Prince that if some things are not done, over time, they will breed demons. This is his old yellow hurdle, he must step over it on his own. At the same time, he also comforted the Crown Prince by saying, why don't you learn some martial arts? Learning martial arts won't hurt, and learning martial arts won't fall for you. The Crown Prince naturally understood that old Huang was worried that he would not be by his side and that he would not have the ability to protect himself. But he stubbornly replied, don't learn, don't learn. But when he turned around, he himself held the sword gifted to him by old Huang and waved it with a dignified expression. On the day before departure, Lao Huang looked at the vast Baoyang Wu mansion and sighed deeply, saying, Crown Prince, this road, Lao Huang will accompany you to this end. After speaking, he calmly walked towards the gate of Emperor Wu's city, as if he had already anticipated his own ending. That is to say, the next battle achieved the most classic first battle among the top 10 classic battles in our snow story. That's all for the story. Everyone was deeply saddened by Lao Huang's experience. Facing the second place in the world, Lao Huang is likely to lose, but this courage to challenge the impossible really makes us sweat. If I had such strength, I would definitely roam the rivers and lakes, be content with gratitude and enmity. What is the second best in the world? I wouldn't take the initiative to provoke. It's smaller, the pattern is smaller, isn't it? What we are thinking about is how to be carefree after becoming stronger, while what Lao Huang is thinking about is how to realize the meaning of his existence. If a person cannot even find the meaning of their existence, then it is also a kind of emptiness. Agree, perhaps this is the difference between the great hero and us vulgar people. Listen to everyone's opinions. In the eyes of the handsome villain, there was a hint of unusual expression clearly flashing. At this moment, he clearly saw his shadow on Huang's body. Pursuing lifelong goals at the cost of one's own life. He can empathize with it, but he is extremely disdainful. Because in his eyes, the actions of Huang were aimed at achieving his own goals. But there are too many uncertain factors. A slight mistake will result in a complete loss. As a chess player in the big picture, this is clearly a taboo. Indecisive, afraid of dying unworthy in the end. P.S. Newcomers, this is my first time writing a book. I know I didn't do well, but I will do my best to write it well. So please support me with free flowers and review tickets. If you have monthly tickets, it would be even better to give rewards and reminders. The author would like to thank you in advance. Chapter 2. This battle and the Battle of Beishi. The Battle of Xiake Island. You are listening at Novel Full.Audio. Seeing everyone still discussing the decision of Huang. Su-yi takes another stunning photo. Pop. The crisp sound of tapping echoed throughout the room. Everyone fell silent upon hearing the sound. Su-yi then continued to tell. Since ancient times, those who can be called the top 10 are definitely from the top 10 in the entire martial arts world. For example, the top 10 famous swords, top 10 experts, top 10 demons, and so on. And Huang's challenge to the world's second king, Xianzhi, is one of the top 10 most exciting scenes in our snow story. Whether it's the intensity or the depth of its expression, it can be considered a masterpiece in the world. And both of them are top-notch experts. This level of confrontation. Even in the world we are in, perhaps we cannot find a scene that can be compared to it. Is there no comparable scene in the entire martial arts world? At this moment, everyone began to have some doubts. If it's just a world in snow, that's a story you made up. No matter what you say, others can't find any reason. However, if compared to reality, it is still said so absolutely. If it is not as shocking as before, it will inevitably cause some people to be dissatisfied. You should know. The Jianghu is incredibly vast, with countless major and minor events happening every day. There are also many fascinating stories among them. With thousands of years of history, there are also major events that have shocked Kyushu. There have also been some abnormal demons present. For example, the mysterious and unpredictable villainous commander of the Tang dynasty. Zhang Sanfeng, the leader of Wudong who has lived for an unknown number of years on Wudong Mountain in the Ming dynasty. So some people don't believe in evil. Ask. 10 years ago, in the Battle of Xiake Island's demon head Beishi, there were 3,000 righteous warriors. Can you compare them? Su-yi gave a dull smile. With a proud expression on his face, he said, "Forgive me for being blunt, that Beishi is not even worthy of lifting shoes for old Huang." Everyone was greatly surprised. You should know that Beishi had already reached the strength of the great heavenly position 10 years ago. He is already a strong individual in the Kyushu Jianghu. But in the mouth of the storyteller, he doesn't even deserve to lift his shoes. This made everyone curious. What is the strength of this sword, Huang? So he asked. Dare to ask Mr. Su, what kind of strength is this sword with 9 yellow swords? What is the strength of the second king Xianzhi that day? Su-yi waved his hand and immediately put away the folding fan. Then he smiled at the crowd. If you want to know this question, let me ask you a few questions first. Have you ever seen a sword open the heavenly gate and a sword immortal kneel? Have you ever seen a scene where a sword strikes and 100,000 flying swords block the sky and sun? Have you ever seen a person guarding one door and killing hundreds of thousands of soldiers, afraid to take a step forward? Have you ever seen a scene where a sword strikes and mountains and rivers split in two? Su-yi asked 4 times in a row. Directly asking stunned everyone. Sword opens the heavenly gate, the immortal kneels with one sword, and with one sound of the sword, there are 100,000 flying swords. One person and one sword kill 100,000 soldiers who dare not move forward. Can this really be considered a person? Mr. Su, are you joking? This is clearly a fairy, isn't it? It's like, one sword, mountains and rivers divide into 2. How could such a person exist? For Su-yi's words, everyone obviously couldn't accept them. Even the mirror heart demon, who had been staying by the side of the Grand Marshal all along and could be considered knowledgeable, couldn't help but frown at this moment. This little doll really dares to talk nonsense. If there were such a powerful person in this world, wouldn't the 9 provinces Jianghu have long been unified by him alone? Upon hearing this, the unscrupulous handsome only took a sip of the wine in the cup. No waves have risen. But for the disdain of mirror heart demon. If you haven't seen anything before, "Do you really mean it doesn't exist?" said the handsome and indifferent person as soon as this sentence is spoken. Mirror Heart Demon was stunned in an instant. He is well aware of the meaning of the words, de shui. Seemingly plain, it is an affirmation of that kid's whimsical words. What de shui means is. That kid, what he said is true. He couldn't believe it. Following the Grand Marshal for so many years, he has never seen an existence that can divide mountains and rivers in two. What a terrifying realm can this be achieved? And the handsome and profound eyes kept staring at Sui on stage. He is starting to feel a bit curious now. How exactly did this kid know about this? You should know that in the Kyushu Jianghu, the well-known powerhouses, including King Qi and King Jin, are only at the peak of the Great Heavenly Throne. Above the Great Heavenly position, there are also several realms, and those who step into these realms can almost be said to be no different from immortals. I only learned about these things after breaking through the shackles of the heavenly realm. But this kid, although he doesn't have much martial arts cultivation, seems to have a good understanding of things above this great heavenly position. Return to the stage. Faced with public questioning, Sui remained calm at all. Instead, he chuckled lightly and said, "Everyone, having never seen it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. When a person reaches the true level of strength, they may not pay too much attention to the world's perspective. Gradually fading out of the view of the martial arts world. Let me give two of the simplest examples. Zhang Sanfeng from Wudong Mountain was the commander.In.Chief of the Tang Dynasty royal family's secret organization of unscrupulous individuals. Have you seen them before? Have they often appeared in the view of the martial arts world?" Sui said so. Everyone seemed to be enlightened. It seems like that's really the case. Although I feel like Mr. Su is deceiving me, I can't find a reason. As Mr. Su said, it seems that the stronger one is, the less they like to wander in the martial arts world. If we say that, it's not that we are ignorant, but that we haven't reached that level. What is the realm of Jian Huang and Wang Xianzhi? Sir, hurry up and tell me. I'll give you a reward of 50 taels of silver first. 50 taels, who do you look down on? I'll give you a reward of 300 taels. Please speak quickly, sir. Everyone was curious and completely hung up at this moment. Just as Sui was preparing to continue speaking, a mechanical sound suddenly rang out in my mind. Ding! Congratulations to the host for successfully activating the immortal storyteller system. Considering that the quality has completed system binding for the first time, 5 regular lottery opportunities have been gifted. Lucky draw opportunity can be used for reward drawing. Rewards are not limited to artifacts, magic treasures, elixirs, talents, martial arts, etc. The higher the level of the lottery opportunity, the richer the rewards according to audience feedback. Hosts can receive varying amounts of popularity. Popularity value can be used to exchange for lottery opportunities. 1,000 popularity can be exchanged for 1 regular lottery opportunity. 10,000 popularity can be exchanged for 1 advanced lottery opportunity. 100,000 popularity can be exchanged for 1 top-notch lottery opportunity. 300,000 popularity can be targeted for rewards. Listen to this sound. Sui was momentarily stunned. Immediately, an indescribable excitement swept over my heart. However, he did not show it. But rather, it is a strong pressure, this joy. That's right, he's a traveler. I have traveled to this world for over a month now. And the system just arrived late. It seems that this system is still related to storytelling. Anyway, let's go back and study it first. Think about it. Sui didn't hesitate too much, he just put away the wooden stand and closed the folding fan. Then he aimed at the crowd. If you want to know what will happen next, let's listen to the analysis next time. P.S. Newcomers, this is my first time writing a book. I know I didn't do well, but I will do my best to write it well. So please support me with free flowers and review tickets. If you have monthly tickets, it would be even better to give rewards and reminders. The author would like to thank you in advance. Chapter 3. Suspicion of the bad handsome, this son must be not. You are listening at novel full.audio. Is that all? Is it gone? Everyone watched as Su-yi stood up and left. Obviously, I haven't reacted yet. Wokeo, is Mr. Su such a dog now? With such a big suspense, who can sleep tonight? Shop owner, you can't take care of your family, storyteller. If you keep hanging on like this, we won't come back in the future. Damn it, I'm still waiting to listen to the scene of Sword 9 Huang battle with Wang Xianzhi. It seems like I don't have to listen today. By the way, how strong is the second king of the world, Xianzhi, and how does it compare to the old man Zhang Sanfeng from Wudong Mountain? It's hard to say, if I remember correctly, Zhang Sanfeng is almost 200 years old. He has been fading out of the martial arts world for decades, and he has already crushed a martial arts world for decades. Now that decades have passed, who can say for sure how deep his strength is? Su-yi has left. But everyone's enthusiasm for discussing Jian Zhouhuang and Wang Xianzhi remained undiminished. Even often compared to some legends in the current martial arts world. Of course. More people are still complaining about the owner of this inn. The story had just reached its climax when it suddenly disappeared. Who can bear this? I'm talking about Manager Tong, so you can't take care of your storyteller. Half of the storyteller left, isn't that leaving someone to scratch? That's it. Why don't you call him back and continue talking? Tong Xiangyu also had a helpless expression on her face. Is this something she doesn't want to care about? She wished Su-yi could grow up in their inn. But Su-yi doesn't listen to them at all. And they cannot offend each other either. If the other party is really not here to talk. Isn't that a big loss? Old Bai, explain to them. Speaking, Tong Xiangyu turned around with a helpless expression and walked upstairs. But in my heart, I was thinking that this kid left so quickly today. I will invite you to have a meal. Can it be difficult to eat? Can it be you? At the same time. Above the attic. Mirror Heart Demon reminded the bad handsome, Marshall, it's time we set off. But the handsome guy didn't mean to get up. He put down his glass of wine. Then I asked a question. What kind of person do you think this storyteller is? Mirror Heart Demon was a bit stunned when asked. But he answered truthfully, it looks like there is no trace of cultivation, he should just be an ordinary person. Ordinary people. Haha. The bad handsome suddenly stood up, hands behind his back, and laughed a few times. Continuing. I have shown extremely high martial arts skills since childhood. At the age of 20, I reached the highest level of heaven, and at the age of 20.5, I was ordered by Emperor Taizong to establish a bad person. At the age of 23, he broke through the great heavenly realm and reached the Grandmaster realm at the age of 75. However, it was only after breaking through that I realized that there was still a realm above the great heavenly realm. But this storyteller has such a deep understanding of the realm above this great heavenly position. Now, do you still think he's just an ordinary person? I heard the bad handsome say so. Mirror Heart Demon was instantly shocked. What the Grand Marshal has never fully understood, but the storyteller actually knows very well. Is it true that that kid is a master hidden in the mortal world? Don't wait for him to think carefully again. Just listen to the bad handsome walking downstairs and giving orders. Notify me that I will stay in Qixia town for a few days and have them postpone their plans accordingly before implementing them. Yes. At the same time. Not long after Sui finished. Hidden among the audience, the copywriters dispatched by major booksellers rushed back with their copied articles. Almost simultaneously. Several major booksellers simultaneously launched the latest chapter of the Snow Story book, titled Sword 9 Yellow Battles Second in the World, and at the fastest speed, push these storybooks to every corner of Kyushu. These booksellers rely on a strong sales network. It only took an afternoon to achieve these things. Various regions in Kyushu. It's a new book in the snow, give me a copy. Wipe, why is it so fast every time? Can't you print a few more copies? Look at the end of this issue, Mr. Su will introduce the strength of Huang and Wang Xianzhi. 1 sword, 2 mountains and 2 rivers. This is too exaggerated, isn't it? I have long heard of the existence of immortals above the heavenly throne. Is it possible that Huang and Wang Xianzhi are both immortals? Mr. Su actually said that Beishi doesn't even have the qualification to lift shoes for old Huang. If the big demon Beishi sees this, he will probably cry and faint in the toilet. Damn it, the author of Dogecoin, the broken chapter dog cannot die easily. Damn it, can Lao Huang ever do anything with Wang Xianzhi? Can't a dog author write a complete story? For a moment, a new round of discussions about stories in the snow began to take place in various parts of Kyushu. At the same time, within the territory of Daming, among the Chungang gang. In this plain, Beishi is the true winner of the Battle of Xiake Island. He not only fully understood the martial arts secrets contained in all the murals on the island, and after mastering it, forcibly destroy it. He was also besieged by 300 righteous men on Xiake Island as a result. Unfortunately, at that time, Beishi had already achieved great magic skills, coupled with the blessing of the secret techniques of Xiake Island. Everyone is not a match at all. After this battle, Beishi returned to the Chungang gang and completely took over the entire gang. Become a new gang leader. And under his strength and operation, the Chungang gang has become one of the few gangs in Kyushu. And when he saw the rubbings, his final evaluation of himself, my gaze couldn't help but turn cold. I saw him exert a little force, and the paper rubbings turned into fragments directly. Okay, now even a storyteller dares to judge me at will. Okay, it's really great. At this moment, Beishi was really angry. He originally obtained the Chungang gang through improper means, so he is very concerned about what people in the martial arts world say about him. If the storyteller dares to say so, it is undoubtedly a blatant slap in his face. So he called his confidants, the brothers Tian and Tian. These two people were personally cultivated by him. So I have great trust. My adoptive father, let's call our brothers over, but what's up? Tian and Tian are quite similar to the two envoys of rewarding good and punishing evil back then. And what Beishi taught them was also the martial arts practiced by the two envoys of rewarding good and punishing evil. He glanced at both of them. Then, with a cold face, he said, recently, there's a storyteller who dares to make false judgments about me. From now on, I don't want to hear any more opposing voices about me. Do you understand? The two brothers, Tian and Tian, immediately understood the meaning of Beishi. So he arched his hand and said, "Don't worry, adoptive father, it's all on us. P.S. Newcomers, this is my first time writing a book. I know I didn't do well, but I will do my best to write it well. So please support me with free flowers and review tickets. If you have monthly tickets, it would be even better to give rewards and reminders. The author would like to thank you in advance." Chapter 4. The Jianghu riot caused by a story. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Above the rivers and lakes. Apart from the spectators, they are fond of talking about stories in the snow. The cultivation system that goes beyond the scope of ordinary people's understanding has caused a considerable sensation in the martial arts world. Many strong individuals who are stuck at the peak of the heavenly realm vaguely feel that their cultivation can still break through again. But whenever there is a need to break through, even if something is missing, it can lead to the failure of the breakthrough. In Su Yi's story, the realm mentioned above the heavenly realm immediately aroused their curiosity. They think that perhaps this storyteller really knows something. Chidi. Huan Fong. Above the main hall, a light gauze cage envelopes a graceful figure. Through this layer of light gauze, I saw a woman with an extremely charming appearance, holding a snowy storybook in her hand. This person is none other than Wang, who is known as the Empress and also the owner of this illusionary sound workshop. She used this as a pastime. But when she saw the last few pages of the rubbings, my gaze couldn't help but freeze. Above the heavenly throne, one sword can divide mountains and rivers, and one person can block thousands of troops. It turns out that the realm above the heavenly realm is so terrifying. No wonder no one dares to rebel against the Grand Marshal. The Empress has always known. Above the great heavenly position, there exists a higher level of realm. She made several attempts to break through, but ultimately ended in failure. Based on what she has learned. In addition to him, other powerful individuals at the peak of their great celestial position have also sought breakthroughs. The only person who has successfully broken through so far is the Grand Marshal. Even in the entire martial arts world, there is no second one who knows what exists above the heavenly realm. But now, a storyteller actually vividly metaphorically portrays the display of the strength of the powerful above the heavenly realm. Does he also understand the methods for breaking through those realms? Think of it here. The Empress couldn't help but feel a wave of fanaticism rising in her heart. She knows what she is thinking now. Perhaps it's just one's own wishful thinking. But when I think of General de Shuai's unparalleled strength in the world, she still decided to personally investigate. Prepare the car, set off immediately, Qixia town. The Empress's majestic voice echoed in the main hall. The guards on both sides quickly responded. Yes. I'm going to prepare now. At the same time. Tongwen Museum. In front of a chessboard. Jin King Li Siyuan and Li Kungsu sat opposite each other. Li Siyuan lowered the black flag in his hand. As he asked. Second, you are the most obsessed with drama. Have you recently noticed a storybook called Shuizhong? Li Kungsu answered truthfully, I have heard of it. But I'm not interested in that randomly fabricated story. But this king is very interested in some of the things described above. Li Siyuan dropped a chess piece. Then he spoke leisurely. You know, I have been stuck at the peak of the great heavenly position for some time now. I have attempted several times to challenge the realm above the heavenly realm, hoping to compete with the Grand Marshal. When this king is no longer afraid of the Grand Marshal, it is the time when our state of Jin unifies the world. So, second brother, you should understand what I mean. Speaking of which. Li Kungsu's hand stiffened suddenly. I realized that on the chessboard, I had already run out of opportunities to move forward. So he stood up and put on a mask. With a theatrical tone, he said, Big brother, wait here for my good news. After speaking, he turned around and left. Longhu Mountain, Tianqi Mansion. At this time, the Heavenly Master Mansion was managed by Zhang Zifen. It has regained vitality. And a lot of fresh blood has been added. At this moment, Zhang Zifen also received news that he was a storyteller from Qixia town. There may be news about how the great celestial position can break through. Originally, he was not interested in this. But he knows. There is someone who will definitely take action against them. That's Li Siyuan. So, it is absolutely impossible for him to give the other party a chance. If Li Siyuan, who is truly ambitious, finds a way to break through. At that time, the world will surely be in chaos. Get ready, I'm going to Qixia town. As he spoke, he quickly left the Heavenly Master's mansion. Ride on horses that have already been prepared. Then he headed towards the direction of Qixia town. But for these, Su Yi was completely unaware. My unintentional explanation still caused quite a stir in the martial arts world. Across Kyushu, there are forces rushing towards the direction of Qixia town overnight. In the evening, Su-yi has already gained a basic understanding of the system's functions. Prepare for the lottery now. This makes him a bit uneasy. Because of a past life. He is a well-known non-chieftain. Anything that is related to luck has nothing to do with him. Playing game lottery is always a big guarantee. Snatching red envelopes is always the least. That's right. Su-yi is a traveler. It has been a month since I traveled to this world. He, who already has no special skills, appears to be struggling in this world. Fortunately, before traveling, I had read many novels myself. So, he took root at Tongfu Inn. Speaking of storytelling. However, because it is already the world of martial arts, and I am also telling martial arts novels. So I quickly gained a group of loyal fans. Fame also rose with it. The days have also improved. In this situation, the system descended. It can be said that it is a double celebration. Forget it, let's smoke first before we talk. Speaking. Su-yi's mind twitched. 5 cards emitting white light. He appeared in front of him. At this point, the system's raised tone also sounds. Ding. It has been detected that the host currently has 5 lottery opportunities. Do you want to use it now? Su-yi did not hesitate at all. Use. P.S. Newcomers, this is my first time writing a book. I know I didn't do well, but I will do my best to write it well. So please support me with free flowers and review tickets. If you have monthly tickets, it would be even better to give rewards and reminders. The author would like to thank you in advance. Chapter 5. One Night's Great Ascension, Shocking Kyushu. You are listening at Novel Full.Audio. With Su-yi confirming the use of 3 lottery opportunities. The 5 white cards in front of me suddenly flashed with a golden light. Ding. Congratulations to the host, get 1 10,000 taels of silver ticket. Ding. Congratulations to the host, you have obtained 1 holy cultivation pill. Ding. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the secret golden light curse to level up. Ding. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the character fragment of Chungang. Ding. Congratulations to the host, you have obtained the secret technique Heart Demon Attraction and have reached your ultimate level of cultivation. Special reminder. Collect 10 character fragments and summon this character. The summoned character will maintain 100% loyalty to the host. 5 opportunities quickly run out. There are 2 martial arts in total, 1 pill, 1 character fragment, and some silver. The level of martial arts and elixirs looks quite high. And the character fragments are even more incredible. What a person is Chungang. If he could be summoned to become his attendant, wouldn't he be able to walk horizontally in the 9 provinces Jianghu? Thinking of this, Su-yi felt great joy in his heart. It seems that after crossing this world, both luck and luck have improved. 5 opportunities, except for slightly inferior silver, the other 4 are of great use. Now devour the cultivation pill. I had been studying how to enter the martial arts world before, but I didn't expect the opportunity to come so soon. Speaking, Su-yi flipped his palm. For a moment, a golden pill with a faint aura appeared in front of Su-yi. Just feeling the fragrance overflowing from the pill. Su-yi only felt an invisible force pouring in from top to bottom of his body. I don't know how far it can help me break through. Cultivation pill, although taken, can quickly break through cultivation. But the specific level to which one can break through depends on the devourer's own absorption of the pill's power. As long as Su-yi takes the pill. So the pill will continuously transform into true qi, and if not absorbed in time, it will evaporate. Let's start. Su-yi sat cross-legged on the mat. Adjusted both body and mind to an excellent state. Next, directly insert the pill into your mouth. At the moment of entrance, the pill instantly transforms into a majestic true qi. Crazy flow along the 4 limbs and hundreds of bones. Finally, it will be remitted into Dantian. Su-yi also succeeded in breaking through the barrier while this force converged. First grade. Danyao continuously provides true qi. After being absorbed by the Dantian, this true qi was quickly replenished. Second grade. Third grade. Fourth grade. With just a cup of tea, Su-yi's cultivation has already broken through from 0 to the 6th grade level. At the same time, same in. Ji Rushue in the other room was already too frightened to speak. She was originally ordered by the Empress. Hurry up and drive overnight from Chidi to settle down in this 7 heroes town. But before she could put down her salute, she noticed someone breaking through the next room. When he perceives it, it is only a 3rd level realm. In less than a cup of tea, the opponent has reached the level of 6th grade. But upon careful consideration, she felt relieved. He's such a lucky guy. It should be because he got a wash marrow pill, which allowed him to break through 3 levels in a row. Wash marrow pill. It is an extremely rare divine pill and elixir in the Kyushu rivers and lakes. The function is to cleanse the meridians and marrow, enabling ordinary people's meridians to meet the requirements of martial arts cultivation. Or, let some cultivators with extremely poor potential improve their talents. Although it does not have a breakthrough effect. However, some martial artists are unable to further break through due to their tendons and meridians. But true qi accumulates every day. Originally, this accumulation was meaningless. But because it improves the muscles and meridians, the warrior can continue to break through. So these accumulated true qi will enable the warrior to quickly break through. But often, one can only break through 1 or 2 levels at a small level. The person next door, although exaggerated, broke through 3 levels at once, but it is also within the reasonable range. But just as Ji Rushue was thinking so, the breath is once again rising. Breakthrough again. She covered her little mouth in disbelief and said. At the same time, in Su-yi's room, with the improvement of cultivation, the true energy required to break the mirror is also constantly increasing. Previously, he could break through 6 realms in just 1 cup of tea. But now, from the 6th to the 7th, it takes a full cup of tea effort. Fortunately, the cultivation level within the cultivation pill is still very sufficient. It should be enough for him to break through several levels again. Break it for me. Another critical point. With Su-yi's low roar, the realm broke through once again. His cultivation also arrived at the 8th realm. As long as you break through the 2 realms, you can reach the realm of the little heavenly position. In addition to increasing the required true qi, even the consumption of physical strength is doubling. I don't know where I can persist with my determination. At this moment, Su-yi clearly felt a bit struggling. Sweat also seeps out on the forehead. But he gritted his teeth and continued to absorb. Half an hour later. Breakthrough in the 8th realm. 2 hours later, the 9th realm broke through. He surprisingly rushed to the realm of the little heavenly realm with a burst of enthusiasm. What kind of monster lives next door? Ji Rushue next door is already numb. He has seen geniuses before. Li Xingyun entered the little heavenly throne at the age of 16, which is already an unattainable level of heavenly pride. But now, surprisingly, someone rushed from the 3rd realm overnight to the realm of the small heavenly realm in one breath. This is too shocking. Compared to the other party, Li Xingyun can even be said to be unworthy of lifting shoes. But it's also at this moment. Ji Rushue suddenly felt that the fluctuations of true qi around her were once again restless. Isn't this guy going to? Again. It's already late at night. At this moment, Su-yi could hardly feel the cultivation pill he was holding in his mouth. And his cultivation has once again reached a bottleneck. It's almost there. He exhausted all his resources to absorb the gradually thinning true qi. Sweat droplets as big as beans flowed down their cheeks. At the last moment when the true qi of the cultivation pill was depleted. Boom! A violent wave of true qi quickly exploded. The decorations in the room were all shattered by this authentic energy. Even the vase used for decoration in the distance has been transformed into a ground. It's done. Su-yi was overjoyed. Because at this moment, his cultivation has already reached the realm of mid-heaven. In the world of Kyushu, the great heavenly position can already be considered top-notch. The mid-heaven position is second only to below the great heaven position. Since then, he has also gained the ability to protect himself. In this world of martial arts, without the ability to protect oneself, it is difficult to live peacefully until the end. P.S. Newcomers, this is my first time writing a book. I know I didn't do well, but I will do my best to write it well. So please support me with free flowers and review tickets. If you have monthly tickets, it would be even better to give rewards and reminders. The author would like to thank you in advance. Chapter 6. Bad Handsome visits personally, suspecting identity. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. Bad Handsome visits personally, suspecting identity one night, 3rd grade to mid-level. At this moment, Ji Rushue felt a bit dazed. She once doubted whether she had a ridiculous dream. Is there really someone in this world who can cross 8 realms overnight? If there really is, practicing martial arts is a bit too easy for him. Such talent, once grown up, is likely to be the second bad handsome. This matter is of great significance and must be reported to the Empress as soon as possible. Ji Rushue made a decisive decision immediately. She cannot act recklessly on such a significant event. We must notify the Empress as soon as possible. So, she quickly went out. After unfastening the horse rope from the backyard of the inn, he flew away. Looking at Su-yi's side. After reaching the mid-heaven level of cultivation, he only felt that his perception and strength were many times stronger than before. Now, when he closes his eyes, he can even sense the subtle changes around him. He can even see every corner clearly. Then he made a sword with his fingers. Swipe freely. I saw the true qi condense into a sword arc. The coffee table in front of me was actually split in half. A neat section is displayed in the middle. Is this the means of the heavenly position? It is indeed powerful. Then, Su-yi shifted his gaze to 2 mental techniques. The origins of these 2 mental techniques are also significant. The Golden Light Curse, when practiced to a great extent, not to mention those in the same realm, even a stronger person at a higher level may not be able to break through the protective golden light. However, the golden light can undergo countless changes, and every strike can be unexpected and deadly. To a certain extent, the Heart Demon Curse is even more rebellious than the Golden Light Curse. This is one of the 30.2 secret techniques of the Rakshasa Hall. The perfection of cultivation requires only a glance, which can make those who are not determined fall directly into the demon of their hearts. The most important thing is that it can truly ignore the realm of cultivation. If there is no defense, even land immortals will only have a chance of being hit. I didn't expect that in the first lottery, the system would give such 2 abnormal techniques. With the blessing of these 2 martial arts, it is enough for me to establish myself in this Kyushu Jianghu. Su-yi's gaze was burning. After all, this is a martial arts world. No matter how well my book describes it, I can't save my life in the face of danger. As the saying goes, a man may stumble, a horse may stumble. Even if you don't provoke trouble yourself, trouble will always come to you. But now the situation is different. As long as you don't encounter strong individuals above the heavenly realm. For oneself, there is no threat. Besides, The strong of the great heavenly realm are either the masters of one place or the masters of the sect, and they don't have the leisure time to come and talk to themselves. Learn. Because of the system. So Su-yi doesn't need to be like others, seeking progress and relying on his own understanding. He just needs to mentally move and let the system sweep through the technique. The cultivation will transform into a stream of light, entering one's own sea of consciousness. Then, one's understanding and proficiency of the martial arts will be fully enhanced. Finally everything is done. Let's do the rest tomorrow. After tossing around for most of the night, Su-yi was already exhausted. I saw him stretch lazily and prepare to fall asleep. The next day. Within the inn where the Bad Handsome is located. Marshal, today Qixia town suddenly saw many unfamiliar faces. It seems that the people of King Qi and King Jin have also arrived. Mirror Heart Demon inquired about the news and truthfully informed the Bad Handsome. The Bad Handsome sat cross-legged on the mat. Due to the mask, it was impossible to tell what expression he had. A group of young people, hearing some wind and grass, wanted to take a share of the opportunity. I'm really ignorant. The Bad Handsome snorted coldly. He naturally knows the purpose of these guys coming here. It is nothing more than the realm of the great heavenly realm narrated by the storyteller. Make them think that by finding the storyteller, they can find a way to break through. They want to be their second self. But what they don't know is, there is no way to break through the great heavenly position. It can only be continuous accumulation of cultivation. I entered the great heavenly throne at the age of 23, and only entered the Grandmaster realm at the age of 75. During this period, I spent 52 years accumulating wealth. During this period, Ben Shui also spent over 100 years searching for the elusive breakthrough method. Later on, it was discovered that the so-called method of breakthrough did not exist at all. To break through, one must constantly accumulate cultivation, so that one's cultivation can step by step break through the limit. At this moment, Mirror Heart Demon seemed to understand something. Then he couldn't help but sneer. The kings of Naki and Jin are truly ignorant. I thought that the storyteller, who can speak the realm above the heavenly realm, can know the method of breakthrough. If it's really that simple, wouldn't it be that the streets are filled with masters and experts? Bad looks have no words. He just suddenly stood up from the bed. Then he walked to the window and stood with his hands down, unsure of what to think about. The life and death of the storyteller have no meaning to him at all. However, there was still a hint of doubt in his heart that remained unresolved. That is, what is the background of this storyteller? Without any background, but able to tell the story of the strong above the great heavenly position vividly. He firmly does not believe it. He actually had some speculations in his heart, such as that Su Shizhi, the prince of northern Liang, was himself. So, he can leave a lasting impression on this story. But what exactly is the truth? He needs to personally test it out. Think of it here. He suddenly turned around and walked towards the outside. You stay here for now. I need to handle some things. After speaking, he disappeared directly into the sight of Mirror Heart Demon. Marshal. Why is it a bit strange? Mirror Heart Demon naturally does not know what the Grand Marshal is thinking. I just feel that Marshal's actions in the past few days are somewhat abnormal. But I didn't dare to say anything more. Because he knows. No one in the world can question the existence of the Grand Marshal. P.S. Newcomers, this is my first time writing a book. I know I didn't do well, but I will do my best to write it well. So please support me with free flowers and review tickets. If you have monthly tickets, it would be even better to give rewards and reminders. The author would like to thank you in advance. Chapter 7. Li Siyuan. I just want it to be chaotic, the more. You are listening at novelfull.audio. It is 40 miles away from Qixia town. On a mountain forest path. Ji Ruxue happened to meet up with the Empress's men and horses here. Through the curtain of the sedan chair, the Empress's willow eyebrows furrowed slightly. Ruxue. I didn't ask you to monitor the situation in Qixia town, why did you come back? But what have you found? Upon hearing the Empress's question, Ji Ruxue knelt half respectfully on the ground and arched her hand to reply. Empress Hui, Ruxue brought back 2 pieces of news from her trip to Qixia town. Speak up. Yes. The first thing is that Ruxue discovered various powerful figures such as Tunguen Hall, Xianming sect, and Wanda Cave in Qixia town. It seems that our Huan Fang is not the only one who is interested in Qixia town. Finish speaking. Ji Ruxue didn't forget to glance at the Empress's expression. But nothing was found. The Empress's expression didn't even have any waves. It's as if I had already anticipated all of this. I had long anticipated Li Siyuan's ambition as a wolf and would never miss a single chance. I just didn't expect that the people of the Xianming sect and the 10,000 Poisons Cave would also be so quick. You keep talking about the second thing. The Empress's tone was plain. I don't seem to be particularly worried. But let Ji Ruxue continue to speak. The second thing. For a while, Ji Ruxue didn't know how to tell. If we were to put it directly, she discovered a peerless genius who had stepped from the 3rd rank to the mid-heaven position overnight. Will the Empress believe it? If it weren't for what I saw with my own eyes. I wouldn't believe it myself, if someone had told her that. She only thinks that the other person's mental state is not good. Seeing Ji stuttering like snow. The Empress's willow eyebrows furrowed slightly. What's going on? What's going on that makes you so stutter? Ji Ruxue struggled a little in her heart. I have decided to speak truthfully. Empress Hui, my subordinate. I encountered a peerless demon in Qixia town. This person's 3rd grade reached the mid-heaven level in just one night. As soon as these words were spoken, the Empress and her entourage were stunned for a moment. Not waiting for the Empress to speak. The attendant beside the Empress couldn't help but laugh. Sister Ruxue, are you afraid that you haven't been working hard lately and your old eyes are dim? Crossing 8 realms overnight, are you still talking about humans? That's right, Sister Ruxue. If we really follow what you said, this cultivation plane would be too simple. No, it's not too simple, it's like drinking water. The other follower also followed suit. Keiji Ruxue had a serious expression on her face. Spoke with utmost solemnity. This matter was witnessed with Snow's own eyes, without any falsehood. At this moment, even discerning people could tell that Ji Ruxue was not joking. However, crossing 8 realms overnight, directly breaking through from the 3rd level to the mid-heaven level. How to listen, how to feel like a joke. The curtain is there. The Empress's gaze was slightly fixed. She understands Ji Ruxue's personality. I won't joke with myself. I will never disclose any uncertain information to myself. So. There is only one possibility. That's right, what Ji Ruxue said may be true. If that's really the case. So her trip to Qixia town this time is definitely the right one. Because even if there is no way to break through the realm above the great heavenly position. If we can bring this person under our command. That pair of Huan Fang, and even Qi Di, are all great opportunities. Can cross 8 realms overnight. Isn't it just a matter of time to become the next commander? Ruxue, I'll ask you again, are you serious? The Empress once again spoke up and confirmed. Ji Ruxue's attitude remains unwavering. Returned to Empress Dowager, Ruxue dare not conceal anything. After receiving definite information. The Empress already had plans in her heart. She first said to Ji Ruxue. Hurry to Qixia town first and continue to monitor the situation in Qixia town. Fanning Tian, go with Ruxue and assist her. If there is an unexpected situation, you can confidently handle it first. We will arrive at Qixia town before tonight. Then he turned to other humanists. Speed up, make sure to reach Qixia town before tonight. Yes. Everyone responded in unison and began to take action separately. At the same time. Jindi. Inside the Tongwen Museum. Newspaper, Lord, according to the eyeliner we set up in Qixia town. Now Qixia town has suddenly seen many unfamiliar faces. It is suspected that other forces are also coveting Qixia town. Upon hearing this, Siyuan didn't have much reaction. It seems that attention is still stuck on the chessboard in front of us. The subordinates remained unmoved when they saw Siyuan. Then we continued on. Among these forces, there are Tang dynasty forces such as Huan Fang, Wandu Cave, and Tian Shifu. Holy Lord, look, should we? The subordinates' intention is to send people and horses over. After all, these forces were not ordinary people in the Tang dynasty. But his kind reminder was directly exchanged for a pair of cold eyes from Siyuan. I saw him sneer. Why, are you teaching Ben Wang something? Don't play with your little cleverness in front of me. Do you think that what you can think of is beyond my imagination? Although Siyuan's tone was plain, it gave people a cold feeling. Scared messenger. Lien hurriedly said. I dare not, I deserve to die. Please calm down, Holy Lord. But Siyuan didn't even glance at him. Direct orders to subordinates. Throw him out to me and feed my baby. Then, I heard the subordinate constantly howling and begging for mercy. But Siyuan remained unmoved. Do you really think he's not clear about the situation in Qixia town? Compared to the handsome, Siyuan admits that he is still slightly behind. But apart from the Grand Marshal, Siyuan has never subdued anyone. Big brother, the situation in Qixia town is complex at the moment, and I'm afraid second brother alone won't get any benefits. How about? The speaker was Li Tsuanzhong, who ranked 9th among the 13 imperial guards. This person has a short stature, sharp-tongued monkey cheeks, and doesn't seem to have much killing power. But he is actually the only person in the state of Jin with online intelligence, except for Siyuan. Even so, he still couldn't guess Siyuan's thoughts. So he asked tentatively. But Siyuan just glanced at him. Then it's not too tight or too slow. Don't worry, the second one will be fine. Moreover, I didn't really want him to bring back the storyteller when I asked him to go to Qixia town. But to have him go over and stir up the situation. Disrupting the situation. Li Tsuanzhong's pupils suddenly contracted. He seems to understand something. When catching fish, the more mixed the water is, the easier it is for the fish to be obstructed from view, making it much easier to catch. Siyuan carried a faint smile. But to Li Tsuanzhong, it was so cold. He is such a big brother, his mind is really too deep. There is even a hint of being a bad handsome person in the world. P.S. Newcomers, this is my first time writing a book. I know I didn't do well, but I will do my best to write it well. So please support me with free flowers and review tickets. If you have monthly tickets, it would be even better to give rewards and reminders. The author would like to thank you in advance. Chapter 8. Bad Handsome Chaos, surprisingly unable to guess this. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Qixia Town. In a certain inn. Su-yi doesn't know yet. Because of a story I told yesterday. It has already caused a sensation in the entire martial arts world. Countless forces believe that he can have a way to break through the realm above the great heavenly position. Even though this matter may seem somewhat absurd to many people. However, I still couldn't resist the fanaticism of that group of people towards breaking through the realm. Breakthrough above the great heavenly position. That is to seize the initiative of the entire Kyushu Jianghu, who can resist this temptation. Inside the room. This golden light curse is truly magical, it can transform into any form at will. It can even be concentrated to achieve a stacking effect. Fade the golden light from your body. Su-yi is very satisfied with this golden light curse. He estimated that under the blessing of the golden light curse, even when facing opponents from the heavenly realm, he also has the power of World War I. Of course, it may not be possible to pass. But that's already enough. He has not yet tested the effect of the heart demon attraction. However, based solely on the introduction of this technique, Su-yi already felt its uniqueness. Ignoring cultivation. See who's finished. This is simply not too impressive. With this skill, even if I encounter someone stronger than me, I still have a chance to win. This move can only be activated by making the other person stare into their own eyes. Although not invincible. However, as long as there is no defense, this move is definitely a deadly weapon that can take people's lives by surprise. After all, this is the world of martial arts. Now that I have improved my cultivation and comprehended martial arts, I finally have the ability to protect myself. But that's not enough. In the world of martial arts, the strong are respected, as long as you are not the strongest person. So there is already a risk of falling. Don't say anything else. Take people like Yen 13 as an example. I heard you have some strength, so I dare to come and fight against you alone. Who can bear it? So, to avoid this situation from happening, there is only one way. That is to continue to become stronger. Strong enough to intimidate others. However, this requires more popularity points to exchange for rewards. Think of it here. Su-yi stood up from the bed. Put on your clothes. Looking at the time, it's not yet noon. Anyway, there's nothing else. It's better to give an additional lecture. It's also good to study what exactly this popularity value is. And what he doesn't know is, his every move has already been fully observed by people. The backyard of the inn. A handsome man dressed in black sat in the pavilion. In front of me is a set of tea sets. He seemed to be tasting tea, but he thoroughly investigated every move in the storyteller's room. Yuan Tiangang believed that no one's background and nature could escape his eyes. This is the confidence he has accumulated over hundreds of years of life. But at this moment, he was a bit confused. This guy clearly had no fluctuation in his cultivation level yesterday. But suddenly it's in mid-heaven today. Moreover, the techniques he employs are beyond even my understanding. It's like the martial arts of the Heavenly Master's mansion, but it's even more exquisite than the martial arts of the Heavenly Master's mansion that I know. A person who is strong to a certain extent can make those who are weaker than him not feel his cultivation aura. But it is absolutely impossible to change the cultivation aura that emanates from oneself at will. And this kid is obviously a bit deliberate. Could it be that he had already sensed Ben Shuai's existence, so he deliberately revealed these things? Is it just to make Ben Shuai unable to see it? At this moment, Yuan Tiangang secretly said in his heart. Only this explanation can explain it. Why didn't he feel the other person's cultivation yesterday, but today the other person suddenly hit the mid-heaven position? Perhaps this person has reached a level where even he has not ventured into. At this level, it is already possible to freely change others' perception of one's own strength. And the techniques he employs are conveying a message to himself. That is, don't provoke him. I have come to this point. Yuan Tiangang was extremely frightened in his heart. He no longer knows how many years he has, and has never felt this way before. Immediately, he took a sip of the new tea in the cup. Force oneself to calm down. I have been playing chess for hundreds of years and have never encountered anything unexpected. Unexpectedly, at this final step, I met someone who couldn't even see through my handsome appearance. I don't know if he will affect the pattern of my Tang dynasty. In fact, he is not interested in the identity of a storyteller. He is worried about his carefully designed chess game that takes the world as its board. Will this shake the foundation? But upon careful consideration, perhaps I overthought it myself. This person has such strength that if they want to interfere with the pattern of the Tang dynasty, they may have already taken action. At the same time, Su Yi has arrived at Tongfu Inn. Because according to the original plan, there were not many guests in the inn today as there were no lectures. But seeing Su Yi coming over, he appeared particularly enthusiastic. Yo, Mr. Su is here. Mr. Su, could you continue with the previous paragraph today? What was the final outcome of the battle between Lao Huang and the second king of the world, Xianzhi? Although I can vaguely guess the result, I still want to hear Mr. Su's lecture in person. Yes, Mr. Su, everyone has come. Let's talk for a while before we leave. Seeing everyone so enthusiastic, Su Yi also refused to shirk. Following everyone's instructions, he walked up to the high platform. Then he waved the folding fan in his hand and immediately opened it. Then laugh at the crowd. Since everyone is so enthusiastic, let me talk about Su's gratitude to everyone today. Okay. Upon Su Yi's words, there was a burst of cheers below. The applause was continuous. Some passers-by who were not originally planning to enter the tea house. Upon hearing this commotion, I couldn't help but walk in. After seeing Su Yi, I couldn't help but brighten my eyes. I'm afraid I won't be able to grab a spot one step later. One by one, they hurriedly pulled out a chair nearby and sat down. At this moment, Su Yi hasn't started speaking a single sentence in the main text. The inn had already changed from 3 to 5 people to a packed room. At this moment, Su Yi also spoke slowly. Throwing the ground with a resounding and powerful roar, there is a blade of light in a silent place. Relying entirely on a few words, the end of the road leads to the rise and fall of the world. Today, we will continue to talk about the battle of fate between the second Northern Liang and the 9 yellow swords. P.S. Newcomers, this is my first time writing a book. I know I didn't do well, but I will do my best to write it well. So please support me with free flowers and review tickets. If you have monthly tickets, it would be even better to give rewards and reminders. The author would like to thank you in advance. Chapter 9. Claims to be the second in the world, but no one dares. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Before we get to the main topic of our book, I think it's necessary for everyone to first understand this world's second king, Xianzhi. Only by understanding the strength of both sides can you know the grandeur and shock of this battle. And Jianzhi Huang, as described in our previous stories. So today, let's just talk about this world's second best. I finished speaking earlier. Su Yi clapped the board. Just listen to a pop sound. Just look at the whole audience, everyone has their ears raised. The sound of someone serving tea was slightly louder. You will be met with the glare of others. It can be seen how much people love the story of Su Yi. Su Yi continued with the previous passage. Wang Xianzhi is the reincarnation of the White Emperor, the lord of the city of Emperor Wu, a once.in.A. century martial arts genius, the first person in the new martial arts evaluation, and an invincible martial arts expert in the martial arts world. However, she only claims to be the second in the world, ranking the top 10 martial arts experts in the martial arts world as the 11th. He came from a humble background and later abandoned literature to pursue martial arts. After going through hardships, he gradually reached the pinnacle of martial arts. He was neither the youngest second-level expert at the time, nor did he break through the first-level realm several years after reaching it like Li Chungang. The situation is as chaotic as a broken bamboo. There has never been a stunning cross-border move before. Compared to the martial arts genius who pursued the 4 great masters, he can only be considered a late bloomer. But he is such an ordinary and unremarkable person, after achieving the Vajra physique. This tall young man, who was only suitable for watching battles on the side at that time, is gradually becoming invincible. Especially after he broke off the invincible divine weapon, the Trojan horse and ox, with his bare hands, it allowed him to directly ascend to the top of the martial arts world. Since then, Wang Xianzhi has never suffered a defeat. This silent old man stood alone on the rooftop of the woody city. A cold eye overlooks the entire martial arts world. Deng Tai, the peach blossom sword god, proudly climbed upstairs while riding a donkey and carrying a peach blossom branch. In the end, we can only lose and go downstairs. The Qingyi Confucian scholar who made the Zhao family emperor restless, the Western Chu hegemon Chao Chongqing, climbed upstairs. I also lost and went downstairs, to the point where in the end, few people went to defeat this old monster. I just wanted to climb the stairs faster and be satisfied, if I were lucky enough to meet my old friends. Seeking some martial arts insights is undoubtedly an unexpected joy. Wu Fu's use of strength to uphold the right path has always been regarded as an inferior technique that goes against the heavenly way. Despised by the people of the three teachings. It was Wang Xianzhi who used her own strength to turn the tide. Reversed people's views. As a pioneer of martial arts, Wang Xianzhi is even more at the peak of her career. Never let go of the Western Hills. The tide of 80 years has come and gone, and the masters have changed one after another. But this old monster still stands at its peak, unmatched by anyone, let alone surpassed. Speaking of which. Sui paused and took a sip of his tea. At this moment, the audience below had already been stunned by the sound. Such a terrifying person, isn't Lao Huang one of the inevitable defeats in this battle? Is that worth mentioning? Old Huang himself has already become fully aware of death. The new martial arts evaluation ranks first. If I remember correctly, this evaluation is conducted every 10 years, and each of the 10 evaluations is the strongest in the world. It is truly terrifying that Wang Xianzhi has reached the top 8 rounds without anyone surpassing her. 80 years, how many strong people have been burned to death, and how many strong people have risen? TSK, no wonder they can be called the invincible top tier in the martial arts world. But since he's so strong, why is he still the second in the world? Is there anything else to say about him? Damn it, tell me quickly. What was the battle between Sword 9 Emperors and Wang Xianzhi? I don't believe it. Can Wang Xianzhi still defeat Sword 9 Emperors in seconds? It's just that, what else happened afterwards? I'm so anxious. Faced with everyone's dissatisfaction, Sui calmly put down the teacup. Then he smiled and said, "Don't worry, everyone. I'm not just sipping tea to moisten my throat, so that everyone can hear more clearly." As he spoke, he was startled by a slap. With a loud bang. The entire inn suddenly fell silent. Sui then continued speaking. That Wang Xianzhi is invincible in the martial arts world, but only claims to be the second in the world, there must be his reason. Among them, there is another top powerhouse involved, Li Chungang. Li Chungang's stunning performance far surpasses that of Wang Xianzhi. We will also talk about the story of the sword god Li Chungang later. However, that's all for now. Let's continue with the story of Jian Zhuang inviting Wang Xianzhi to battle. Just as Sui tells the story of the snow. At this time, Qixia town is already full of wind and clouds. There are constantly people and horses from other forces entering Qixia town. Even the local residents of Qixia town are very puzzled. Why did so many outsiders suddenly come to the town during the Chinese New Year? Who knows this? I'm not sure if you're here to listen to Mr. Su's lecture. After all, Mr. Su's talk about the snowy rivers and lakes is a popular presence in the 9 provinces. Tongfu Inn. A corner of the attic. The bad handsome was sipping tea while quietly listening to the storyteller's story. To be honest, he doesn't think this story is fabricated by the storyteller. Because everything inside is too vivid. Just like seeing with one's own eyes and hearing with one's own ears. In addition, the elusive identity of the storyteller. Tianqi speculates that he may have witnessed these stories with his own eyes. Who can witness such a level of battle and come into contact with such a level of strength? Tianqi already had two speculations in his heart. Firstly, behind the storyteller, there is an extremely powerful force that allows him to access that level of existence. Secondly, the storyteller himself is at that level of existence, so it is not surprising that he can come into contact with it. Kyushu Jianghu, but in this world, who can be certain that there is only Kyushu? In the endless sea, who can guarantee that there will be no other continent? Perhaps, this woody city is located in an endless sea, on a certain continent. The strong on the mainland far surpass the Kyushu mainland by one level. Tianqi became more and more frightened as he thought about it. He thought he was already capable of standing proudly in the world. But these days, I just listened to the storyteller tell a few stories. But it made him feel incredibly insignificant. De shui. While Tianqi was still pondering, a sentence from Mirror Heart Demon interrupted his thoughts. He waved his hand, indicating that Mirror Heart Demon could speak frankly. Mirror Heart Demon spoke respectfully. Marshal, the scout came to report that 10 miles away from Qixia town, we have discovered the manpower of Huanin Fang, Wanda Cave, Tungwen Hall, and Tianqi Mansion. 50 miles away, it was discovered that foreign powers were rushing towards Qixia town. The scouts of these forces have entered Qixia town. Upon hearing this, Tianqi. There wasn't much turbulence. But with a proud sneer, he said, a group of young people finally can't sit still. Let's all come, I want to see what skills they can have. At this point, Tianqi had already made plans. Although he looks down upon those ignorant people very much. But perhaps these guys can also provide themselves with an opportunity. An opportunity to further understand this storyteller. P.S. Newcomers, this is my first time writing a book. I know I didn't do well, but I will do my best to write it well. So please support me with free flowers and review tickets. If you have monthly tickets, it would be even better to give rewards and reminders. The author would like to thank you in advance. Chapter 10 Battle of Emperor Wu's City. Wang Xianzhi, Lao Huang. You are listening at Novel Full.Audio. That day, Lao Huang was rare and serious, carrying a purple sandalwood sword box behind him. 3 layers and 6 grids, containing 6 of the top 10 famous swords in the world. 3 years ago, after losing the battle against Wang Xianzhi's woody city, he left behind the sword of Huanglu. And today, he is going to retrieve this sword. Even if he knew he was going, it was like a moth to the fire. But he went openly, calmly. Under the sunset, Su Shitzi, hiding in a corner, suddenly realized that old Huang's figure could also be so majestic. He sneered and said, "You have really deceived me so miserably. With such strength, why do you have to run at the forefront when I am in a difficult situation?" Then he said, "I have prepared the wine and dishes at home, and after finishing them, remember to come back. I will personally celebrate for you." Above the building, Jian Zhihong and Wang Xianzhi are in opposition 20 battles apart. Wang Xianzhi stood with her hand down and asked, "Is it worth it?" Old Huang took off his sword box and smiled calmly, saying, "There's nothing worth it, just fight it." Then, Jian Zhihong took the lead in his move. Sword 1, one sword opens the dust and walks the dragon and snake. This sword, with its sword energy soaring like a dragon or a snake, charged straight towards Wang Xianzhi. Next is sword 2, where the 2 spirits grow together and form a lotus root. Another sword, flying out of the sword box, complementing each other with a combination of left and right arches. Another 3 swords, the sword energy on the sword weighs 3 pounds. The third sword flew out of the sword box, and all 3 swords came out together, forming a chain reaction. Its momentum was even stronger than just a few times. The terrifying sword energy directly caused the surrounding black clouds to roll and the electric light to flicker. There are spectators in the distance who can defeat 90% of the swordsmen in the world with this move. Speaking of this, the audience below couldn't help but become restless. As if the figures of Huang and Wang Xianzhi were right in front of them. The sharp sword moves transformed into virtual shadows and were displayed in front of them. I have never seen the 9 yellow swords wielding their swords before. But one can feel the sharp sword intent within. A listener couldn't help but ask. Does this move possibly repel Wang Xianzhi? Everyone knew that there was a huge difference in strength between the two, so they didn't directly ask if they could defeat them. But rather, whether it can be repelled. But Sui just shook his head. Then he said. The difference is significant. With 3 swords, Wang Xianzhi can resolve it with just 2 fingers. Everyone was shocked. This move can defeat 90% of the swordsmen in the world, but it still cannot shake Wang Xianzhi. This Wang Xianzhi's strength is truly terrifying. If Huang is the pinnacle of swordsmanship, then perhaps Wang Xianzhi has already become like a fairy, right? It's not that Huang is not strong enough, it's just that Wang Xianzhi is too abnormal. Above the attic. Upon hearing this, Tianqi couldn't help but frown slightly. Although he had never witnessed this battle with his own eyes. But the storyteller described the moves of Huang in great detail. So much so that he already had a rough picture in his mind. This kind of swordsmanship. Even though he had read countless swords, he couldn't help but exclaim in amazement for his ingenuity. I have been practicing swordsmanship for 300 years, not even a penny behind him. This is the exquisite swordsmanship technique exhibited by such a skilled swordsman. But it was broken by Wang Xianzhi's 2 fingers. If Huang is said to be 1 level higher than oneself, so Wang Xianzhi and herself are vastly different. I don't know if Wang Xianzhi is still alive, but if he has time, I would also like to seek some advice. At this point, Tianqi had already developed a strong interest in Wang Xianzhi. On stage, Sui interrupted everyone's discussion with a startled sound. Then continued to tell the story. Huang used 3 swords with a total of 24 moves, and his sword power stirred up anomalies in heaven and earth. But it still hasn't hurt Wang Xianzhi at all. Even at this point, Wang Xianzhi only used 2 fingers to fight. Huang smiled bitterly in his heart. This old monster is really not ordinary strong. I was so tired that I was almost burping my butt, but I only forced him out with 2 fingers. Thinking of this, Huang once again exerted his strength. Sword 4, for clouds floating and sinking. Sword 5, send Guanyin to the west in the wind and snow. Sword 6, Jiazi 6 locks reincarnation. There are 3 more moves. With these 3 moves, 6 flying swords transform into countless shadows, spreading sword energy all over the sky and heading straight towards Wang Xianzhi. At this moment, separated by a kilometer, one can clearly feel the sharpness of the sword's intent. Even within 100 meters of the ground, there are already scattered sword marks. The sword's intent is solid enough to eliminate countless top swordsmen, feeling out of reach. Faced with the 6 swords and 9 yellow swords, Wang Xianzhi just said, "Good." Then, with a wave of his hand and a sword-like intent, he swept across the sky. 3-finger sword, easily blocking multiple attacks. Still without any dignified expression, it seems that these 6 swords are still effortless for him. Upon seeing this, Huang couldn't help but curse inwardly. Old man, you really don't give me any face. Immediately, the breath surged again. Sword 7, the 7 swords pick out all the stars in the sky. Sword 8. On his deathbed, the 8 immortals knelt down. Before encountering Wang Xianzhi, although his sword Huang created the 9 swords himself, what he truly unleashed was already the pinnacle of the 8 swords. 8 swords emerge, and the 9 yellow swords' momentum has reached the peak of the celestial phenomena. At this moment, Wang Xianzhi finally had a hint of solemnity. But only one hand was used to deal with it. Swordsmanship danced in the sky, and with just one hand, he dissolved them one by one. Seeing this scene, Huang knew that 8 swords were not enough to threaten Wang Xianzhi. I immediately decided to unleash the 9 swords. And this Wang Xianzhi can also be considered as the first person to learn his 9th sword. He smiled at Wang Xianzhi and said, "Old man, not many people have seen me wield this 9th sword yet. After today, it will be enough for you to boast for a while." Haha. Huang laughed heartily. Then the momentum continued to rise step by step, with sword-like intent spreading throughout the sky, transforming into thunderous waves. Above the city of Emperor Wu, everyone only saw a sword aura soaring into the sky. When the sword energy passes by, everyone is shocked. If the previous 8 swords were stunning, then this 9th sword can definitely be called a shock. At this moment, Wang Xianzhi finally became solemn. Everyone was surprised. The world's second-best player, who used to only have one hand, actually used both hands at this moment. It can be seen that this sword indeed made him feel extraordinary. P.S. Newcomers, this is my first time writing a book. I know I didn't do well, but I will do my best to write it well. So please support me with free flowers and review tickets. If you have monthly tickets, it would be even better to give rewards and reminders. The author would like to thank you in advance.